Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming today to practice with me. Just as a reminder, this is a practice for current students of yoga, preferably Iyengar Yoga. So if you have any queries at all, any doubts, please contact me at www.yoga.com. So we're focusing on balancing poses this week. I'm sorry if the signal's a bit juddery today. We seem to have some interference, but hopefully you can hear me, you can see me, but the voice might not be quite synced up to the movements, but we'll get there. So yes, balancing poses, including some standing balances and one seated balance. So we're going to have a go at today. All right, so we'll start with the invocation as usual to Patanjali. So we'll sit straight, compose ourselves, and bring the palms together in front of the chest, close the eyes. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya javaidhyakena yopa karotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankachakra Siddharinam Sahasra Shirasam Svetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. And then maintaining the lift, we bow our head down towards the heart. We give our thanks to the Iyengar family and to Patanjali and all our teachers. And then release the hands, raise the head, open the eyes, and extend the legs out. So we've got, first of all, Supta Tadasana, which is the lying down Tadasana pose. So if you take a belt with you as well, because then we'll be going straight into Supta Padhanasana from there. Okay? And we need to make sure we've got room to take the arms over the head, because we're going to do the Hastasana, so lying with the arms over the head. So we'll take the timer as usual, so we get a nicely timed practice, and we'll do 1 minute for each movement on this one, maybe 1 minute and a few seconds, so that we've got time to change in between. So the first thing to do is Supta Tadasana, and I'm going to press my heels into this bar here, so that I've got something to extend the heels into. You could just lie down on the floor. I'll keep that next to me in case it doesn't go off. So Supta Tadasana first, just lying down Tadasana. The eyes stay open for this. And I'm having my feet slightly apart today. You can have your feet together or apart, shoulders pressing down. Seeing that the back of the center of the skull is on the floor. Eyes soft, mouth soft. But I'm working my legs. I'm pressing the thighs down and extending through the backs of the legs into the heels. That contact there, helping to remind me not to be lazy in my feet. And then broadening those shoulders. So then you're going to take the arms over for Urdhva Hastasana. And if the arms don't reach the floor, don't bend the elbows and sort of sag the arms. You've got to keep that extension in the arms as well as in the legs. So now both sets of limbs are working firmly to create openings, lengthenings in the trunk. Palms face each other. You can experiment and turn the palms towards the ceiling, as long as that doesn't cause aggravation in the neck or the throat. Try and keep the backs of the thighs towards the floor, and we're stretching the fingers wide. Again, eyes soft. Try to focus on your own practice, on the sensations in your own body, and feeling the touch of the body to the floor. So when the bell goes again, we'll take the right leg up for Supta Padhanasana 1, so the belt will go around the foot. So if you bring your right leg in first, and then place the belt around the foot and extend the leg up. I'm not reaching up particularly high with the hands today, but you can grab your foot or you can grab your belt higher up. Just keeping my outer shoulders pressing down. I'm using the loop so that my hands are quite relaxed actually. And then I'm pressing the foot into that double strap and trying to keep the back of the left leg close to the floor. Keeping that spreading of the backs of the thighs. And again, if you turn your head this way and that, you kind of lose a sense of quietness and concentration. We were talking about concentration in a couple of the classes this week in terms of the sutras and how to still the fluctuations of the mind. We'll change legs. So try to stay focused on what you're doing. And one of the ways to do that is to keep the eyes softly focused on one point. The back of the skull evenly placed on the floor. And almost looking without looking, seeing without looking. So your eyes are soft, your peripheral vision is wide, and your attention is drawn inwards towards the body and the sensations of the body. So you have sight, though you're not looking at your body, you're looking maybe up towards the ceiling, but you also have the sense of touch with the body on the floor, and particularly if you've got bare legs, you can feel the skin on the floor, or you can feel the skin against the clothing if you've got leggings on. You can feel the touch of the foot against the belt or against the finger if you're catching your foot. And then change, and we'll do Supta Padhanasana 2, that's taking the leg out to the side. And then the sensation changes because the focus then comes towards the groin extension on that inner leg, and perhaps to that feeling of slightly losing control where the left buttock wants to lift, and then we tend to then tip the head over to one side to compensate. So can you keep that same broadness of the shoulders, the same point that you're looking at towards the ceiling, and how that focus quietens the mind. And even though it's an asymmetrical pose, there is balance. And then change legs. You always bring the right leg down and then change. I'll try to do that in a more logical way. I've got an advantage on this side because I've got a wall. So I'm going to be lazy and use the wall. But even in that convenience of having the wall there, I can then focus more on extension of the opposite leg. I can go quieter because there's no fight to balance now. The right buttock stays down evenly, so then there's more opportunity to try and spread the back of that right thigh. Make sure you keep your shoulders tucked under, you're not gripping in the neck. And you can use the opposite arm, the right arm, to keep that right shoulder down, not to sort of roll onto the left side. Okay, then we'll come up and release. And turn to the side and come up. Stop that for a moment. Okay, so then we've got the Tadasana, Shishasana, and Untitled Padhanasana. So the standing version of those poses, really. So let's come up to Tadasana, yes. And just standing Tadasana. You can have the feet together or the feet apart. And if your device is low down, try not to look down at it, but stand with the vision straight forwards. So when you were lying down, you're looking straight up. So here, keep the eyes looking straight forwards. And try to have the hands in line with the sides of your legs. So not backwards or forwards. Have that space in the armpit chest. Sides of the chest lifting, broaden across the shoulders. Spread out those toes. And feel the distance between the crown of the head and the tailbone getting longer. When the timer goes, we'll take the arms up to vertical. For Hastasana. This is exactly what we did lying on the floor. This time we're standing, so there isn't that support of the floor against the back body. So remember the touch of the thighs against the floor and see if you can feel that broadness now in the back of the leg. The upper arm gripping in, the inner elbow lifting. Can't see my palms, but they're facing each other. Fingertips towards the ceiling. And don't forget to keep the grip of the outer thighs, outer shins, outer hips. Eyes soft. And then bring the arms down. And we'll change for Untitled Padhanasana. So I'm going to use the wall rack here. You could use the wall or a chair or a table. And I've got conveniently got ropes so I can just take my leg up, but you might need to take a belt around the foot. So find your spot. The first one is Untitled Padhanasana 1, so we take the right leg up first. And the toes of the left foot, remember, go straight forwards. So just adjust the foot if it moves. And then the toes of the right foot point straight up towards the ceiling. So if you have got a sturdy railing in your home, and if you're practicing outside, you might have an iron railing. You can, do something like this. You can attach a belt to a rail. It's quite a nice way to do it because you can pull on the belt on the rail rather than on the foot. But do be careful when you make homemade props. If you want details of this rack, please email me and I'll send you the company that I bought it from. And then we'll change legs. So again, try to keep the eye level, straight forwards, almost looking from the back of the skull. So the eyes are soft but alert. That means the brain is not hard pushing forwards, not pushing your neck forwards. There's a softness in the neck, especially around the 7th cervical. And then you're softening across the tops of those shoulders, but that lift has to be there in the side chest so that you're not slumped over your hips. So if this is your first guided practice with me, I give minimal instructions, and usually the guided practice is based on what we've been doing that week. Now we're going to do the sideways version, so I'm going to be turning my back to you to do the right side first. Okay? So we'll take the leg out to the side now. And the left arm can either come out, or you can even bring the arm up into Urdhva Hastasana. And then change. And I would say to the focus on that standing leg foot would be on to roll the big toe joint down on the standing leg foot, your right foot now. So that will grip the outer hip and stabilize that leg. Okay, and then we'll come down. Then we've got Vrikshasana, which comes nicely from those two. So you can use the wall for this. You can have your back to the wall for tree pose. We're doing tree pose. You can have the side to the wall. So if you're taking your right leg up, for example, you'd put your left fingertips on the wall, or you can be in the middle. And again, we're going to hold for 1 minute, just over 1 minute. All right, so let's have a play. You can always go to the wall if it doesn't quite work, that standing in the middle of the room. I think I'm going to do my right side first, facing you. So it will look like it's your left, but I'm taking my right leg up first. And then you can either hold the leg, of course, or bring the arms up, or even bring the palms together in Paschima Namaskar. So my palms are like this together, but my arms are straight. And the arms have to come back a little bit. And then I'm focusing on pressing that big toe joint down, that standing leg big toe joint down, gripping the outer left hip in, and also on pressing the right heel bone into the thigh, and the thigh kicking back into the heel. And then in my back body, because you have to take the awareness everywhere, I'm focusing on that lift there, that sort of V lift from the middle back. Okay, so we'll change sides now. It's my tricky side, so it'll be interesting to see. We've got one side that's slightly more special than the other. But if you don't normally take the arms up, or you're worried about taking the arms up, actually when you take the arms up, it does help the balance, because you're lifting with the arms. As long as the arms are straight and not doing this kind of posturing thing, if they're straight, then they pull the body up away from the hips. So it does help, actually. And if you don't get the palms together, just bring the hands apart. And again, that big toe joint pressing down, outer hip gripping in. And then on the left foot, you're pressing the heel into the thigh, thigh into the foot. Saved by the bell. Bring the arms down and the leg down. So that's Shishasana. And then we've got Padhanasana. So we're preparing for Ardha Chandrasana through Padhanasana. I'll just remind you of the pose, and I'll show those of you that need it, I'll show you a support, because you may see me use a support on my right side that's different from my left, because I'm still working with this sacroiliac situation, and I'm trying to take care. So tall brick on the right side, and if you use the wall, it gives you a point of reference. It gives you something to concentrate. So again, we're coming back to that theme of this week was about concentration, as well as balance. So you have touch sensation with that back foot, which is very grounding, but it also makes the leg work more strongly. So when you turn your right leg out and you bend your right leg, Padhanasana, you don't, because you've got the touch there of the foot against the wall, that leg stays strong and allows that extension to come between the legs. And then the hand can come down onto a tall brick. So I've got a tall brick there, and it's beside the ankle. And I'm on my fingertips, so I'm not going to go low, whereas on my left side, I might be on a lower brick. All right, so those of you that need a tall brick, use a tall brick. Okay, so that's just a little bit of explanation, but I'm going to set the timer, and I'll go to my right first, so I'm going to face you first. Padhanasana. And then the arm comes over, and those of you with the shoulder problems, the other week we worked on taking the arm this way so that you can get the arm over into what actually is Urdhva Hastasana arm. It's the same position that we've done the arm so far. And bring your awareness back to that back foot, and the whole of the outer edge of that foot pressing into the wall, or pressing down towards the floor if you're not using the wall. And then the inner heel, big toe man of the right foot. And check that your knee, your shin is pressing against your arm, that it hasn't come forwards. And come up. And change sides. I'm going to turn my back to you now. Try not to break my toe. It's my lovely wooden brick. Okay, and then we've got, from there, Ardha Chandrasana. So again, you could put your back to the wall like we've done. You could use the chair method like we did this week, or just the classical method that I'm going to show now. I'll just remind you so you can see, and let me move this out of the way so that you can see a bit better. And as you know, some of you come to my class, I never teach it with the brick this way. Okay, health and safety, because if you put a lot of weight on a tall brick and you fall, you can snap your wrist. Okay, so please be careful. If you need more height, put the brick this way on top of other foams so it's safer. Okay. So just as a reminder, we're going to come straight from Padhanasana that we've just done. So although I'm starting with a tall brick, once I start to move forwards, I'll lower the brick down. All right. So we'll be here, coming down to the brick. Then I'm bringing that brick forwards to the far end of my mat. So my left foot's on this end, the wall end. The brick's coming towards the far end of my mat. And as I put the brick down, I hop my other leg in close, like that. Can you see how close that is? Then the brick comes a little bit further forwards off the end of my mat, and I lean the body weight onto that brick. And it makes a levering action, so it makes it actually much easier to then take the leg up. Okay, and you can either stay there or you can bring your top arm up. When we come back, we'll tap down and step back all the way to the end and then come up from there. That's the plan. All right, so let's set the timer because we're going to stay in the pose. If you come out of it early, then just come back to Padhanasana or even Trikonasana and finish in a good pose. Okay, so the timer is on. And I'm pushing all my weight into that hand, tucking my t-shirt in. But now the weight is distributed between the hand and the foot. I'm trying to concentrate on that big toe mound and inner heel pressing down to grip the outer right hip, because that's what sometimes fails. Whole of the outer right thigh, in fact. And then the left arm can come up. And there's that concentration of the eyes again, looking at a spot that's hopefully not moving. And then coming back to touch and coming up. And then we'll change. So if you use markers, points of reference, it really helps the pose to be done equally on both sides, although there'll always be a difference. This is my more wobbly side, for sure. And stretch back as far as you can. Try and touch the wall where you started, and then come up and come out. Okay, so that was Ardha Chandrasana. Now we've got Virabhadrasana 1 and 3. So I'm going to do that just the classical way, I think. However, you might need to use the wall for your fingertips when we do the balance part. But let's do Vira 1 first. So you can either jump or step your legs wide apart. I'm still stepping for now. Just taking care of myself. Turning the arms, then we'll lift the arms up and you'll turn to your right. So I'll turn to my left so you can see mirror image for that one. Virabhadrasana 1. So one of the turning poses that actually is a good preparation also for back bends. So maintain the tailbone forwards, top of the sacrum forwards, the middle buttock region forwards, and extend from the inner groin of the left leg to the outer heel. Don't throw the head back until you've got that feeling opening in your chest. But when you do take the head up, the head will come back, face looking up, face, eyes soft, and then come up. Turn to the front and we'll take the other side. Just pause in between. We extend the arms, turn the arms, lift the arms up, right foot in, left leg out, bend the left leg. Again, that tailbone forwards, middle, so the middle buttock region forwards, and then extend from the inner groin to the outer heel on the right leg. Lift the trunk, moving the thoracic forward, sternum bone up and forwards, let the head come up, let the face look softly. So don't harden the eyes. And come up, turn the feet, and either step or jump the legs back to Tadasana. Stretch the arms down. So we've got Virabhadrasana 3. Now I'm just going to show you something. If you have a yoga chair, and it's not necessarily the soft option, but it is an option for those of you that are struggling to balance, who have hip problems, back problems, or who would like to actually do the pose without falling over for a change. Then you can do this method where you have to make a height that's level with your front hip bones. So some of you were with me in class this week when we did this. Then you go forwards with both pelvic bones on the chair, feet tucked under. Can you see my toes are under the chair? They're not back like this. They're under the chair. And then you raise your leg up, keeping the pelvis horizontal with the floor, and then you stretch the arms forwards like that. So you're still getting a really good muscular extension of the spine, spinal muscles, back muscles, extension of the legs, but you can maintain the pose a little bit more safely if you have hip issues or lower back issues, and also you can stay in the pose for longer. So if you don't want to do it that way, want to do it the neat way, we'll do it the neat way. So I'm not going to hold us for there for too long. All right, obviously if you're in the chair, you can go ahead and start now. Okay, so we'll do it the classical way. So we'll start from Vira 1 and go forwards into Vira 3. So I'm going to have to turn my back to you because I haven't got room to do it this way. Let me just get rid of my chair. So no timer. We'll go by my stamina, which won't be very long, I'm sure. All right. So standing in Tadasana. Turn my back to you. So jump or step the legs wide. Then turn the arms. And turn the feet. And then you start with Vira 1. turn onto the toes of the back foot, extend the body forwards, keeping the bend in the front leg. Then the back leg, like in Ardha Chandrasana, should hop forwards, and you lean the body weight forwards, and as you straighten the front leg, you raise the back leg. And then come back to Vira 1. And stay for longer if you can manage. If you've got your hands at the wall, then it's a lot easier. Come up to standing, turn the feet, and then change sides. So I'll turn now towards you. I told you it'd be quick. Quick and painless. Again, arms to the center chest. Step or jump the legs wide. Turn the arms. Lift the arms up. Yes, I've gone the wrong way, but never mind. Turn the feet. Should have done the other leg. Bend the right leg. Extend the body forwards. Hop the back leg in. I think I've done the same leg twice, but never mind. And then go up. And then stretch back. Virabhadrasana 1. Come up. Turn the feet. And then jump or step the legs back together. And just focus again on that horizon. Tadasana. Feeling the ground beneath your feet. Stability of Tadasana, which, you know, when we're practicing this pose, even this pose, sometimes we feel a bit wobbly. But after standing on just one leg, just enjoy the comfort of having two legs. The gift. Okay, now, Prasarita Padhanasana, so very grounding standing pose to do after those balanced ones. So, yes, let's do. We'll take the timer off for this one. And as usual, I'm going to start with my heels on the back edge of the mat. I don't know if I need support. I have to have support just in case at the moment for my sacrum. But take what height you normally have for the head. And we'll go down onto the head. Okay? So there's a chair. So hands under the shoulders. Concave first, the upper back, and stretch the trunk forwards, and then you bend the elbows and take the head down. Take the crown of the head towards the floor. Remember the focus on the feet, so the big toe mount and the outer heels pressing. There's a diagonal extension between the big toe mount and the outer heel. And feel the outer leg, outer shin, outer thigh, moving towards the bones of the legs. So moving inwards. The inner buttock bones broadening, but the outer hips compact. Yes, and as I thought, that's over a minute, so come up, have an internal clock, and then come out and stand up. All right, so I think we've got Shishasana next, head balance. So if you're not going upside down today, you could repeat Supta Padangusthasana, or you could do Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. It's not going to be a long Shishasana today. When I come down, I'm going to use the chair to bring my feet to. Again, that's just to protect my sacrum. And but don't do anything you're not familiar with in these guided practices. It's better to come to me and for me to teach you when I can see you. I'm using the chair to bring my feet down onto, because the extension of my right leg down to the floor is a little too far still at the moment. But it's much, much better than it was, thanks to yoga. Thanks very much to yoga. Okay, so we'll take just 3 minutes head balance. Okay, so not too long, and then come to the final section of the practice today. So I set the timer and hope that it comes off. Let's see if I can set it up so I can see it, just in case it doesn't work. I'm sure it will. So timer is on. So make sure that you're safe, that you're not... if you're doing it against the door, please make sure the door does not open outwards. That has happened before, and luckily she was a very experienced student, and she did a marvellous backdrop through the open door. But that's credit to her practice. So make sure that if you're balancing on a wall, that it is a solid wall. So in Shishasana, you have to, again, adopt that same quietness in the eyes. So looking straight forwards, not down to the floor, because that means you're rolling your eyes up, actually, in your sockets. You might do that if you had certain eye pressure problems, but that would be under instruction from a qualified teacher. But if you're looking forwards, then the peripheral vision is there and the quietness comes to the face more easily. But of course, you have to focus on the base of the pose, your forearms, your wrists, your elbows, pressing down. There is a certain amount of weight in the head as well. And then lifting up through the shoulders, keeping a firm grip of the outer upper arm, in the shoulder socket firm, and then lifting the legs, the outer hips are firm, the outer thighs, the outer shins. The feet should be together, so the inner big toe and heel if possible, but definitely the big toes should be together, the inner part of the big toe mound. And then see that the breath is soft and rhythmic. Feel the backs of the thighs. Observe that the skin should move from the inner to the outer thigh. The front thigh bones, very top of the thigh bones pressing back. And then keeping the shoulders lifted, either one leg, two legs, bent legs, straight legs, come down. And then rest in Adho Mukha Virasana for a moment. Let the arms completely relax. Just let go. Rest. And then you come up. So we've got Anantasana next, which is kind of a balance. It's a lying down balance. on one side. So let's have a little practice with this one. And I would really recommend using the wall for this to press your foot into, because it gives you stability and again a point of focus. So I'm using a wedge here to put my foot against so that you can hopefully see the foot. It doesn't go underneath that bar. So I've got my little toe right on the edge of my mat so that when I lie down, I can line myself up all along the mat. So that if my arm is forwards like that, then I know I've gone out of alignment. So I've got to keep my arm, my leg, my hips. So my hips can come forwards a little bit there and stretch out. And then we'll bend that elbow and bring the hand behind the head. Okay, that's the first part. So we'll just be there. So get yourself into position. I'm trying to keep my, I'm on my right side. So if you want to mirror me, be on your left side. But I'm trying to keep the bottom heel, the leg that's on the floor, the heel pressing into that bar, and the top leg sits on top of the bottom leg. So the heel bones, the big toe mounds are in line, like in Shishasana. Okay, so hopefully my knees are level, so that it's not like that with one knee higher than the other. Both knees are level. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to take my leg up. You might need a belt for this next bit, all right? So if you've got a belt, take it. But we're going to see if we can bring that leg into almost like a Shishasana movement, and then maybe catch the big toe with the first two fingers, or catch the belt around the foot and take that leg up into Anantasana. So we're balancing on the side of the body. The middle buttocks have to press forwards and project that big toe mound up to stretch the inner leg, and also to give a really nice stretch on the shoulders. And then release that leg down. Now I'm going to turn around, so I've got my back to you. And I'm using a belt on this side because that reach, again, for my sacrum is not great on my right side. So I'm going to use the belt on this side. In fact, what I'll do is I'll turn around the other way. So although I haven't got my foot at the wall, you'll be able to see how I take my foot. So little toe in line with the edge of the mat. First of all, you have to stretch out as much as you can. And then you bend the elbow and put the head in the hand like that. So it's really good for the neck. And then pressing the feet down. So I haven't got a wall now, but I'm pressing my little toe into the floor, and the right leg is on top. And I'm going to bend that leg. Will it reach? Actually, it will reach. But if you're using the belt, you can bring the belt around the foot like that and catch it close to the foot. Well, let me show you the belt. Catch it close to the foot as you can, and then take the leg up. So it's not quite as compact as holding the big toe, but you get the idea. And then you project that big toe mound again up towards the ceiling. And I'm trying desperately not to let my right buttock sink back, but inevitably it does. So I have to grip that middle tailbone forwards, middle buttocks forwards, and then release. Down you come. Lovely pose, really lovely pose, Anantasana. Okay, and then we've got Gomukasana. So Gomukasana, normally we just do the arms, don't we? But the full pose Gomukasana will help us with Lolasana, the last pose before we start to wind down. So Gomukasana is with the legs as well. So I'm going to show from the side just to remind you. I'm going to bring my left leg behind my right leg. The feet should actually face straight backwards, but inevitably they come to the side a little bit as you sit down to get your calf muscle out the way on the top leg. And you sit with your left buttock bone on your left heel. Okay, so this is my left foot. This is my right buttock. It's sort of hanging in midair, and my heel, my left heel, is underneath my left sit bone. Okay, and then to take your right arm up your back first, then your left arm goes on top for Gomukasana. There's opposite arms to legs. Now, if there's a big gap and you can't balance, it's a balance pose. You take a blanket and roll it, nice thick roll, or even a bolster, and you can put that underneath your right buttock. Okay? All right, so I'm going to do that. Attempt to do that facing you, mirror image, so it might go horribly wrong. And we'll see if we can hold this, shall we, for a minute? Let's do it. It's really good for the hips, this pose. Also good for the concentration, for the shoulders, for the balance. So if you take I'm mirroring you, so if you take your left leg behind your right, and this calf muscle here, you turn it out, because it tends to get stuck, then you've got to sit with your left buttock on your left heel. And it's the left inner buttock bone. So this buttock might be dropping down, so you can support it with a blanket or even a block or what have you. You can have blocks beside you, bricks beside you to help you sit. Timer is on. We're going to take the right arm up the back first. So some of you might need a belt to catch. And then the left arm comes up, stretch it as high as you can, drop the hand back, and catch. And of course my right foot should not be pointing like that, should be pointing back more. Everything is work in progress, isn't it? But think about the toes of your left foot pressing down into the floor, all 5 toenails pressing down, and the lift of the pubic bone up will help you to stabilize, as will keeping the head in the center, not looking this way and that, keeping the eyes looking directly forwards, lifting the sternum bone chest up. Just got 10 seconds to go. Try not to hold on though for time. Focus on the breath. And then release slowly. Come out and change sides. So go onto all fours again, under your legs, and take the right leg behind the left this time. Place your feet down. Turn the left calf out. Sit on your right heel. Your right buttock bones on your right heel. And then take the left arm up the back. Raise the right arm up and catch. The Gomukasana on the left side. So the difference for me is that my right foot actually goes further back than my left, so that indicates something there. Eyes looking directly forward again. Squeeze the hips, lift the pubic bone, press the 5 toenails down of your right foot. That will really help you to stabilize. So don't just sit on your foot. And then release. And out you come. Just sit in Tadasana for a moment and stretch out the legs to release the knees and the ankles. So the final pose before Setu Bandha and then Shavasana, I'm definitely turning the timer off for this. We're not going to hold this for a minute. So I'm going to show you my way of doing it, which may be different from yours. You may not have enough props actually, or you may be a stronger person and be able to come up very easily without all these lifts. So I'm going to show you a modified version. And again, this is one of those poses where never do it like that. I mean, do it if you want, but not under my tuition, because that is accident waiting to happen. Okay, this is the maximum height you want for the brick, and you make sure they're solid bricks. If they're those very flimsy rubber bricks, those cheap ones that you can buy, nothing wrong with them, but they just have to be used the correct way. Put them flat, don't even put them on their sides, because any weight, excess weight placed on them, they'll probably fall over. And you're going to be balancing on your wrist, so you don't want to do that. All right, so flat bricks. I'm going one higher in the hope that I will be able to get up fairly easily, but you don't actually have to get up. It's just the process of doing it, isn't it? So I'm going to cross my shins. I'm bringing those bricks quite close to the sides of my body, so my hands are a bit beside my hips, and then I'm pressing my feet down into the floor and lifting my knees up first of all. I'm not looking at the camera because I want to curl myself into a ball and grip my abdomen. And then if I can, I lift my feet off the floor and then drop the knees and come down. Okay, so that was as quick as it gets. So if you can't get your feet off the floor, don't worry about that. If you can attempt to lift your knees off, fantastic. If you don't get anywhere, just focus on the positioning, on squeezing the abdomen and trying to lift those knees a little bit off the floor. All right, so anything that you do will start to improve the muscle action, and it's all practice, isn't it? Okay, so hopefully you're all ready there, because I'm going to do my right side again, then we'll change the cross of the legs. So have 2 attempts each side. Ready? And it's Lolasana, so it's earring. So when you get up, you're supposed to swing like an earring. It's not laugh out loud asana, right? It's Lolasana. So try both sides, and then have 2 attempts at each side. Don't have to stay long. And then release. Okay, hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. So we're finishing today with Setu Bandha. And I'm going to use quite a high lift for me. You don't have to go as high as I'm going. You can do your normal bridge pose. And I'm going to have my feet supported at the wall as well. All right, so yes, I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to come over these blocks, and I'm going to take 5 blocks today. Then my feet are going to be on the wall. And I'm taking a pleated blanket for my shoulders. I may need to measure up so that I'm in the right place. So you lie back, head and shoulders on the floor, or shoulders are on the blanket, pleated blanket. Okay. And we'll take, again, 3 minutes in this. So you can see me adjusting so that my shoulders are on the blanket, not my head, and my legs can extend. They're a little bit high, so my heels can extend onto the bar, like so, and then I can work my legs down if I feel like it. But I'm again just taking care of that back. In fact, it feels like it needs to be a bit lower.
And remember, with Setu Bandha, you have to have this sort of lift of the back chest, like a football's behind your back chest, so the thoracic moves in. Otherwise, the lower back tends to get those grumpy feelings. And also that your Tadasana legs are working. And there is a slight grip across the sacral band in Setu Bandha at times, but the lumbar spine muscles should hopefully feel soft if you get the right action in the shoulders and the chest and the legs. Then there shouldn't be any pain in the lumbar. If there is, you need to adjust your pose somehow. Maybe take the legs a bit higher, but always don't go higher than parallel with the pelvis. Check that your shoulders are really well tucked under. And then any doubt, again, just contact me. Feel free. Or speak to your teacher if you have a regular teacher. And then gently bend the knees and lift up the hips to take the supports out and slowly lower the body down. Just wait for the back to kind of settle. Don't lie down from there in Shavasana. Roll to your side first and come up. And then sort your space out for Shavasana. So make sure there's no props around you that are going to get in the way of your arms or your legs. See that you're warm enough and have a thin blanket for the head, or if you have neck issues, take a rolled blanket, thin rolled blanket to put behind the head. Cover the eyes if you need to. Just a short Shavasana today, but obviously you can stay longer in your own privacy of your own home. And always lie down with your legs bent. And feel the luxury of the floor under the entire surface of your body, back body. Gradually let the arms and the legs completely relax. Heavy limbs, relaxed joints, soft skin. And let the trunk spread towards the limbs and into the floor. Release the lower jaw, the tongue, the root of the tongue, and the walls of the throat. Feel the eyes softly closing, looking down towards the heart. And similarly, take the brain energy towards the heart center. Quieten the senses, quieten the mind through directing the focus and concentration from the physical body towards the breath. Watching the ebb and flow of the inhalation and exhalation. And then either stay in Shavasana or bring the hands to the belly. Bend your left leg and turn to your right. Gently opening the eyes, come up and bring the palms together. And release the head down. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time. Enjoy your day.